A Polish refugee forged francs for 13 years was not found. The amount involved was as high as 300 million francs, and finally forced the Bank of France to urgently recall the old 100 francs and fully replace the super coupon design. In 1949, post-war France was full of depression. At that time, Czeslaw Boyaski was 37 years old. He was sitting on a civil engineering degree from the top, the Central European University of Technology. He was a veritable technical genius. During World War II, he served in the Polish army. After the fall of the country, he was captured by the German army. He was imprisoned in a prisoner of war camp for a long time. In 1944, he was taken to France to build the Atlantic Barrier. On the way, he was bombed by the Allies, and the transport convoy was destroyed. He took advantage of the chaos to escape. He arrived in Paris and finally ushered in the end of the war. In Paris, he met a French woman, Susan Tesley, and the two got married. Having 2 children, life should not be as stable as it should be, but the embarrassment of relying on others has always haunted him. The marriage room was purchased by his parents-in-law. As a civil engineer, he has nowhere to display his talents. As a husband and father, he is unable to support his family. In order to make a living, Boyaski tried all means to be a shoemaker and failed to sell engineering drawings. He tried to sing on the stage and ended hastily. Unwilling to be mediocre, he devoted himself to his invention and created a new type of toothbrush: sealed plastic bottle caps, replaceable pencil refills, improved razor blades. And even in 1946, he developed capsules for hot water extraction of coffee powder. This invention, 30 years ahead of its time, created a business empire of billions in the future. But at that time, no one was optimistic about his creativity. All patents were gathering dust, no money was earned, and the house leaked overnight rain. His wife Susan suddenly fell ill, completely lost the ability to work, and the life of the family of 4 fell into a desperate situation. One late night in late 1949, Boyaski, who was desperate, sat at the kitchen table with a brand new 100-franc note at his fingertips. He held the banknotes under the light and shadow, repeatedly groped the paper surface, and carefully studied every watermark, line texture, and color level. What ordinary people saw was unreachable wealth. But as an engineer, what he saw was a precise technical problem that could be overcome. Vicious Boyaski had nothing: no printing press, no professional ink and anti-counterfeiting paper, no engraved copperplate, and no startup capital. His only capital was a top-notch engineering thinking, a magnifying glass, and a lot of desperate time. Every night, his family fell asleep afterwards. He sat alone at the dining table and studied a 100-franc banknote all night until dawn. It did not dismantle the actual banknote, but relied on the ultimate observation. Bamboo, silk, bamboo color recorded all the details of the banknote. From the paper surface, the fiber moved to the level of gradual change in color, engraved all the technical characteristics of the real banknote into his mind, and completed the spiritual dismantling of the official currency process. The first difficulty was the special paper for banknotes. The genuine franc was made of cotton and linen blended material, doped with exclusive safety fibers, which ordinary people could not obtain at all. In order to crack the formula, Boyaski entered the paper factory incognito, willing to do the bottom job that was far lower than his own education. He did not pay for it, but only to study the paper-making process at close range, observe the production equipment, consult the workers for technology, secretly collect the waste from the corners of the factory, go home and try again and again. He even dismantled the cigarette paper through dissolving, mixing, rolling, air-drying, countless iterative debugging, and finally re-engraved a special paper with the same feel and texture as the real banknote. This is just the beginning. The genuine franc adopts precision steel plate engraving and printing technology, relying on professional industrial equipment and workshops. Without equipment, he personally casts brass printing boards and assembles a full set of processing tools. Facing the central bank's exclusive blue-brown gradual change special ink, he spent several months repeatedly blending, testing the color and overturning it. After numerous color faults and overly blunt failures, he finally developed an ink formula that perfectly matches the official standard. The printing machine cannot be purchased. It splits the parts and purchases them in batches, and assembles one alone small, precision mechanical printing press, the most difficult watermarking technology to replicate, relying on the differential density of paper fibers, was the core barrier of anti-counterfeiting at that time. Boyaski created a set of exclusive craftsmanship, and the whole set of techniques was never disclosed to the public. In the end, he slept with him underground and became a permanent secret. After 19 months, day and night, and countless trial and error iterations, he finally created the first perfect counterfeit banknote. There are no flaws and no deviations. He repeatedly rubbed and bent the old one to make the brand new counterfeit banknotes. Has the worn texture that has been in circulation for a long time, and then carefully put him into the market. In the following days, Boyaski kept an eye on all newspaper broadcasts, always waiting for the official to discover Jia Chao and issue an early warning. But the outside world has always been calm, no warning, no control. The most perfect single-person crime in French history kicked off quietly. In the mid-1950s, Boyaski explored a set of extremely cautious counterfeiting and circulation systems. He never printed in large quantities, but always in batches, quantitative production, never spending near the place of residence, often taking the night train to Lyon, Marseille, Bordeaux, and other cities. He pointed to small consumption to buy newspapers, sandwiches to evaluate shoes, and collecting real money by small change. Never repeated appearing in the same shop. In the same area, his wife Susan knew nothing about it, only thought that her husband was a sales representative who traveled all year round. He admired her husband's talent, understood his silence, and never delved into the secret of his late-night burrowing into the cellar. For more than 10 years, his family was unaware of his secret business. With this set of caution in the model, Boyer and Ski made a stable profit every month, 150,000 the old franc income, which was enough to buy 2 luxury cars. After living a stable and prosperous life, he became more low-key and cautious and more ambitious. In 1960, as a civil engineer, he personally, in the suburb of Montgeron, southeast of Paris, he designed and built an exclusive villa, which was also his only large consumption. In this private architectural drawing, there was a secret that even the municipal department could not verify. Under the living room floor, there was a well-disguised staircase that led to the underground secret laboratory. In the basement, self-made printing presses, ink mixers, and banknote aging equipment were readily available. An underground coinage factory dedicated to him was completed. But the turning point of fate came unexpectedly. On January 3rd, 1960, France implemented major currency reforms. The old version of 100 francs is fully promoted, replaced by a new Napoleon portrait of 100 francs. The new version of the banknote integrates top anti-counterfeiting technologies such as microscopic lines, composite watermarks, and gradual change of brick color. The Bank of France publicly declared that this is a banknote that cannot be counterfeited. No one expected that after a few months, a large number of perfectly reproduced new counterfeit banknotes entered the market. Paper watermarks, color lines, and anti-counterfeiting details are all the same as those of Genchaum. The shop bank and even the Bank of France itself cannot identify the entire banknote with the naked eye. Only an extremely subtle flaw can be found by professional inspection under the microscope. When the length of a hair is slightly shorter than the hundreds of fine lines in the portrait of Napoleon, the French national anti-counterfeiting currency, the director of the center, Émile Benamou, has a desk full of counterfeit banknotes that have been collected continuously. He has been deeply involved in the industry for many years. He is sure that such a sophisticated forgery process cannot be completed by one person. There must be a large-scale crime factory hidden behind it, a mature distribution network, and a complete mafia. The gang reported the crisis to the Ministry of the Interior and the Ministry of Finance many times, but he could never find any trace of the gang and could not find the source of the forgery. The frequent and invalid reports made the Minister of Finance extremely dissatisfied and even forced him to dismiss. The entire French police and anti-counterfeiting currency system have been investigating for several years, but still found nothing. If it weren't for a soft-hearted and show-off of courage, Boyaski might have been hidden in the dark forever, and no one found it. At the end of 1962, his Polish colleague Anton Dogilt came to the door for help. The family is in a difficult situation and hopes to borrow money to get by. Boyaski is not only hidden in his heart, but also has a trace of pride and fatigue after 12 years of extreme loneliness and secrecy. He is tired of staying up late all year round and traveling to foreign places, secret forms of loneliness, with a single thought. He broke the secret that he has held for 12 years, walked into the living room with Tongxiang, opened the floor Buddha door, and showed his underground laboratory. Then he reached a cooperation with Doggett, and Doggett went out to circulate counterfeit banknotes. Every time he received the last payment of 100 francs, he paid him 62 francs of real gold coins or national bonds. Boyaski set 3 iron laws: only gold coins and national bonds, and never repeated spending in the same place, strictly keeping the secrets of the two. But this caution was quickly completely broken. Dao, in order to help his family, Guilt secretly informed his brother-in-law Shuvalov of the secret and pulled him up to join the company. Then Shuvalov violated the rules wantonly and squatted at the Bank of France, branch in the 9th arrondissement of Paris and Turgot Street, repeatedly exchanging counterfeit banknotes in large quantities, purchasing national bonds, and completely abandoning Boyaski's hedging rules. The fatal flaws were exposed. In 1963, the Bank of France launched a new precision detection equipment, which captured the subtle deviations that the human eye could not recognize. Small differences in fibers, subtle errors in hairlines. A large number of fake draws were accurately cut out. All clues pointed directly to the bank on Turgot Street, and a mail carrier at the outlet wrote down the suspicious vehicle number plates that were frequently exchanged in large amounts. The police went ahead and touched the melons and locked Shuvalov and Dogel special. After several weeks of follow-up and surveillance, the police found that Doggett frequently went in and out of a single-family villa. The owner of the villa had no formal occupation, but lived a prosperous life. The form was low-key, and the whole body was strange. On January 17, 1964, the police first arrested Doggett and found 10 new 100 francs chow from his pocket on the spot. Doggett, who was unbearable for interrogation, quickly confessed to Boyaski behind the scenes. A large number of police officers immediately went to Mengelong Villa. At that time, the Boyaski family had just returned home from a skiing vacation, and they were surrounded by the police before they rested. The police searched the whole house in the villa for 9 hours to no avail. When they were about to evacuate, they finally cracked the shocking secret that had been hidden for more than 10 years in the gap in the floor. The moment when the wooden board was lifted, the complete underground stove wall factory was exposed to the world. A full set of self-made printing equipment, brass engraving printing plates, prepared special inks, and the work in progress during drying. The evidence of counterfeit banknotes is conclusive and irrefutable. His wife Susan stood in the living room and completely collapsed. Her husband, who has been with him for 15 years, is gentle and silent, diligent in caring for his family. He has never noticed his other identity and has never spied on the secrets of teaching. After 15 years of husband and wife, he has never really known this person in front of him. In the face of interrogation, Boyaski was silent for 4 hours. In the end, out of the pride of the engineer, he chose to open his mouth. He adjusted it clearly and dismantled it step by step. Like reporting a precision engineering project, he completely described all the craftsmanship of his own papermaking, plate making, grinding, and watermarking. The interrogation police officers ranged from unbelievable to deeply shocked. In June 1966, the Paris court convicted Boyaski of counterfeiting currency and sentenced him to 20 years in prison. Benham, the anti-counterfeiting director who led the case, once defined Boyaski as the most dangerous in French history, the counterfeit banknote criminal, and filmed a documentary to review the case, explaining the reasons why the police's 12-year investigation was fruitless. And the follow-up expert review came to an astonishing conclusion that if Boyaski forged dollars instead of francs, with his extreme craftsmanship and prudence, may never be caught. Boyaski performed well in prison. He was released early, in 1978, and served a total of 13 years in prison. After his release, he returned to Montgeron's old home, ready to live again with his wife. But an accidental water pipe burst rewrote his ending again. When firefighters came to repair the flooded house and move the stove, they accidentally dug up his buried wealth. 11 kilograms of gold bars, a large number of gold coins, and countless backlogs of national debt and coins. Hidden retained assets in 1980. Boyaski stood in court again. All gold assets were confiscated, and the whereabouts of the rest of the hidden wealth are still unknown. In his later years, Boyaski was completely dull and lived in poverty, almost forgotten by the world. He passed away quietly at the age of 91 in 2003. But his legend has not ended. The closed loop of fate is full of extreme irony. In the 1990s, a capsule product for hot water, extraction of coffee powder, swept the world and created a business myth of billions. No one knows this patent. As early as 1946, Boyaski, who was impoverished, took the lead in registering. His original invention of his life was not cared about, and the particles were not harvested. But later business people made a lot of money. The content of this issue is here. See you next time.